All right. Well, everyone, what I would like to do I mean, we could still talk about painting and maps and all this. Um, and I want to get into the holiday mood, right? We have some nice ambiance playing in the background. It's still winter. We've been through many winter holidays in all parts of the world where we're from, whether it's religious or secular. It could be something like a federal holiday like President's Day. It could be a sports holiday like the Super Bowl. It could be historical. It could be religious. Honestly, it could also just be a birthday. And I wanted to go over a couple inspirations from real life to prime our mental pumps here, so that we can start tapping our big brain energy. And it was free Pancake Day, yes. Yeah, exactly. So you also have some fun little holidays like that. September's Talk Like a Pirate Day and whatnot. So yeah, I think there's like a donut day and a coffee day. There's little things like that. There's like various social and health awarenesses that go up. So I wanted to talk about some winter holidays that are celebrated for different reasons around the world. And then we're going to get into creating holidays based off of personifications we make as NPCs and then as villains. Because many holidays are usually based on someone, or at least a personified concept, whether it's a deity or a saint, a human who may have been, gone on for religious affiliation, but still was a certifiable mortal, at least at one point in time, or it was named after a mere mortal. Because it does take place before the, I was going to say before the eventide. It takes place before the equinox. Free Popcorn Day. I don't know where that was, but it wasn't around where I live, apparently. Otherwise, I would have got some popcorn. Free Comic Book Day is the first Saturday in May. Make sure you go out to your local comic store, okay, everyone? Okay, let's look at December, January, and February. And yes, I mean, St. Patrick's is technically a winter, as Raz pointed out. I'm not going to worry about measuring, even though I probably should. Let's just keep it contained to months and go from here. And Dogs is saying there's a 7-Eleven Slurpee Day? Oh my. Alright, so we have, in December, we have Bodhi Day, a day of enlightenment celebrating the day that the historical Buddha experienced enlightenment. That's a pretty significant thing. Personally, and for the religion and philosophy that followed. If you want to pay for shipping, Raz, you can get all the free comics. Because the comics are free, but if you want them shipped out, then, we got to take care of that. There's no 7-Elevens in Tennessee. Well, maybe a Circle K or something might be able to help ameliorate the jonesing for a Slurpee. And now, of course, in Christianity, in December, I mean, look, we have, Advent, we have Christmas Day, Christmas Eve, the 12 days of Christmas. So we have what many of us, whether you're a practicing Christian or not, are probably familiar with. Many of us who have a Christian background or Western European ancestry. Oh, I guess even Eastern too. It's Orthodox, and so they have holidays, but it's also kind of the same thing but different. Anyway, you have Longest Night, a modern Christian service to help those coping with loss, usually held on the eve of the winter solstice. And of course, there's also winter solstice, which is a cosmic event, right? That's when we have our longest night in the grand spin around our star. Various saints, Feast of the Immaculate Conception, and Krampusnacht. In Central European folklore, Krampus is a horned anthropomorphic figure disguised as half goat, half demon, who during the Christmas season punishes children who have misbehaved. This contrasts with St. Nicholas, who rewards well-behaved with gifts. So, we can have, a not so, a cautionary tale or a villain. There's in Hinduism, Pancha Ganapti, and if I mispronounce that, please someone correct me. I'd love to learn the proper. And it's in honor of Ganesh, because I don't believe you pronounce the A at the end, at least not properly. Again, correct me if I'm incorrect. Modranit, or Mother's Night, a Saxon winter solstice festival. And so it would be like a Mother's Day, or in this case, a Mother's Night. This seems to be, we can always click and go through everything, but this is more of a, it's a family-based one, a secular one, or just a recognition of mothers in our lives. We have Saturnalia, an ancient Roman winter solstice festival in honor of Saturn. Celebrated with sacrifice, a public banquet, followed by private gift giving, continual partying, and a carnival. And this also, if I'm not mistaken, this is also the Feast of Fools, where if for one day the lords of the manor become the butler, or the ladies of the house become the maid, where the jester becomes the king for a day, and it's one day where we celebrate, where the low are lifted, and then, and we go from there. Oh, hey, we have an O Sheeps and a Bewitchcraft. Hi. Exactly, like in Hunchback of Notre Dame. Irony, you're doing a workshop on Holidays and Ash Wednesday? Well, surprise. For anyone who celebrates... Oh, I asked in chat on Discord, if any of you do celebrate, either religiously or just secularly, you want to take it as a challenge, have any of you given up anything for Lent? Are you making any sort of a 40-day set-aside, or are you setting chocolate aside? Are you trying to, are you trying to enhance your calm? Do you have a little sort of 40-day resolution? Are you swearing off meat for 40 days? Or are you swearing off swearing? Can we give up people we dislike? Well, hopefully you're doing that anyway, Bewitchcraft. You gotta, you gotta move into more positive territory. Crumtrade, yeah, so here we have... Dies Natalis Solus Invicti, day of the birth of the unconquered sun. And my goodness, if you don't want a cool sounding holiday, then there you go. It does say sacrifices included. Humanism. It's a holiday called Human Light. I can't claim to know a lot about the humanist philosophy. I guess from the name I can glean. In Judaism, there's Hanukkah, a festival of lights. Of course, we have Yule. And so, if you want to go for more of the Nordic pantheon, if you don't want St. Nicholas coming on a sled full, pulled by reindeers, I mean, you could have Odin visit you, and I'll tell you, What he uses to get around is, you know, flying reindeers is cool, but come on. There's Yalda, which is a winter solstice themed or timed. Shabe Yalda means birthday eve. According to Persian mythology, Mithra was born at dawn on the 22nd of December to a virgin mother. You may notice a lot of ancient myths and histories have their similarities. And this is not to heighten one or tear down another. There are many things that we as human beings value in our societies and cultures, and there are things that we consider miraculous happenings. And so you will find commonalities. You know, when we get into springtime holidays, you know, and we talk about Easter, and then we talk about the goddess Oster. So there's nothing wrong with that. You know, just like we put up Christmas lights because in a pagan tradition, to try and encourage the sun back to the sky, many villages would light up their houses and have bonfires on the night of the winter solstice. And you know, and these druids and others who worship nature see the power of evergreens as having that eternal life, of having some kind of a mysterious, powerful life force. Pardon. So secular holidays, International Day of Disabled Persons. There's Boxing Day for any of you who celebrate in the United Kingdom, or if you are up in Canada land. Human Rights Day, the Dongzi Festival, a celebration of winter. There is the Lunar New Year as well. In fact, there's also just New Year's Eve on a fixed date. Kwanzaa. Zamenhof Day. Birthday of Ludwig Zamenhof, inventor of Esperanto. Do any of you know what Esperanto is out there? Feed a sheep cake on the 27th and leave the hearts of virginal men. How about the holiday to celebrate sheep? Oh yeah. Oh, you know what? I think we all should celebrate the arrival of sheep on February 27th. I don't know, Raz. If you wanna try shearing a sheep, then that's up to you. I would argue all languages are made up, Death. But yes, Esperanto is in kind of a, it is what we in the fantasy realm call common. You know, it was invented to be a universal language, and it was meant to be a unification. Yeah, it's a constructed language. And so in ways we might call that common. The way that oh shoot, why am I forgetting the language of Celestials? Shame on me. You know, because you have like Abyssal, Infernal, and then you have is it just Celestial? No. I thought it was called something else. It's not Astral. Well, anyway, it's a language that it's described as, when spoken, everyone can understand it, despite your own native tongue. Now, of course, okay, is it just Celestial? Okay. I could have sworn it had a different name, though. But still, it's kind of a supernatural language that, when spoken, everyone can understand it, even if you can't speak it back. Watch Night. uh, fictional or parody. It is, Festivus. I was just gonna look for it. For anyone that celebrates Festivus, break out your aluminum poles, your feats of strength, and your airing of grievances. Because it's Festivus time. Remember Festivus for the rest of us. There is Decemberween, which is it. I love Homestar Runner, but I can't say I grew up because Homestar Runner wasn't around when I was a kid because the internet wasn't. Memories. Winter's Day, the end of the year celebration in Guild Wars. So if there's any other video games that have something else. And Life Day is a Wookiee celebration of life that is featured in the Redacted, in which Wookiees gather with family, wear long red robes, sing under the Tree of Life, and reminisce. So we can have a fantasy Wookiee Life Day. Ta-da! The Feast of Alvis from C-Lab 2021. Believer, you have forgotten the true meaning of Alvis Day. Neither is it ham nor pomp. Nay, the true meaning of Alvis Day is drinking. Drinking and revenge. Yeah, so we could come up with something like an Owlbear Day if we wanted to. Celestial is the language of Celestials. It was brought to Toril through contact with the good folk from other planes. It was described as beautiful yet alien in nature since it developed among beings with thought patterns very unlike those of humanity. Clerics often took the time to learn it, and the Celestial alphabet was used to transcribe the Mulhorandi language. Lunar New Year, Ramadan. In Persian, or it's modern day Iran, Sadeh, a midwinter feast in honor of fire and to defeat the forces of darkness, frost, and cold. Sadeh or Sada is an ancient Iranian tradition celebrated 50 days before Nowruz. Refers to 100 days and nights left to the beginning of the new year, celebrated on the first day of spring. Hanukkah, Passover, again, depending if we're measuring equinoxes and such. Shavuot, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Diwali. So there's many here. I don't want to seem like I'm just choosing some or trying to favor others. There's a whole list, and I will... Actually, this is... I don't know why we're in November here. We should be in December. And that's just December. I mean, if we come up to January, we have New Year's. We have all sorts of... there's Orthodox Christmas. There are all kinds of cultural and religious festivals. We just went over December's. I guess January and February don't have a ton, but here we are. Imbolc. Oh, hey, the first day of spring in the Celtic calendar for any of you pagans out there. Groundhog Day, which of course has a lot of fun folklore attached to it. And Valentine's Day. Aww. And Darwin's Day, apparently. Celebration to commemorate the birthday of Charles Darwin. So if there's a popular scientist in your fantasy world, maybe they have left a mark and have become a someone of note on the calendar. Daily... Oh, Groundhog... Yeah, there's your... So, Groundhog Day. Apparently that was right as you're typing. I wasn't looking at chat here. But Witchcraft reminds us there's 247 days till Halloween. Oh, Celine Day. Hey, Evelyn over here. All right, so we've primed ourselves. Well, other than Sheep's Day, yeah. Other than thank a sheep or whatever we want to call it. Death's birthday. That is a very oxymoronic holiday. Perhaps it's a day where we reflect on such the duality of things in existence. So it's a philosophical day of thought and meditation. All right. Anyway, so we have all sorts of prompts. Now what I want to do is... Oh, whoa. Well, it sounds like it's... we have some thinking to do on March 5th. Wink, wink. We have our... Oh, there's on birthdays too, yes. There might even be on death days if you have a magical culture that, where someone is brought back in a necromantic capacity for some reason. So there could even be an undeath day as well. You know, in Buddhism, at least in Japan, you actually get a Buddhist name posthumously. Ooh, pardon. We actually made something similar. It was actually a combination of Dia de los Muertos and Valentine's Day for our fall festivals. Not that we can't, have other things fall into our consideration. Hey, Diadems, welcome. All right. What I want to do, so that we are coming into this exercise with a blank slate, tabula rasa, right? We're talking about, New Year, or at least, winter holidays. Let's have a blank slate, a tabula rasa. And by that I mean we're going to have an empty worksheet. So we have prompts at least. I want to go through with you our NPC building exercise as a way to prompt us thinking about a holiday by personifying the holiday in a character. But I don't want to fill out the character sheet. I don't care about the strength score of Krampus. I don't care the spell sheet of St. Nicholas, okay? I don't care how many D6s Jack Frost rolls on a blizzard type effect. If you want to stat that out, that's fine. What we're looking for is the core, the spirit. If we were to personify a holiday, it could even be, not just with a person. It could be with a mammal, like a sheep. Hey, Tesla, yeah. We're reviewing worldwide winter holidays to get us talking and thinking. And now we're going to make an NPC through our process. And we'll think about what kind of, what kind of a holiday could this character represent. So we're going to use our 2 NPCs and 2 villains as holiday prompts and then develop them for the rest of the workshop this week. St. George and his Campania to slay a dragon. Now, MathRocksBot is active. And so you all can see here, what we have going on. What I would like to do is, some of this stuff we can roll for in the traditional character building. We're going to go through the worksheet first. And I'm not going to worry about the name right now. Occupation and history we're going to get to. as well as useful knowledge. We'll get to that. That'll be filling in after our prompts. If you have the Dungeon Master's Guide, there is in Chapter 3 some great ways. I'm sorry, at the beginning of Chapter 4, to create non-player characters. Now, you can read this for yourselves in your own Dungeon Master's Guide, though it just so happens that I have a worksheet that we can go down the list and we can start rolling for some interesting prompts that are going to get us to think about this character and what this character could mean as a representation for a holiday. You got to work in the morning? Hey, Van, thank you so much for being a part of the chat for as long as you have. I'm sorry if we didn't get to the juicy part you were looking forward to, but hopefully the next time you join us, you'll be able to see the characters that we made, and you'll be able to get in on the fun. Pardon me. So if any of you want to redeem points for rolls, you can see that there are some, the rolls are listed here. Otherwise, I mean, I'll call randomly, because I don't know since installing this if we've ever gone through NPC or villain creation. So, Van, I'll tell you what, Van, if you haven't left yet, Van Sonny, hold on. Hold on, Van. I need you to give me a D20 roll. Real quick, before you go. Give us our first roll for our NPC. With Math Rock Spot. Exclamation point roll space 1D20. And then I release you. A 2. Piercings. Alright, Van has given us an interesting start. With piercings. Thank you, Van. Your watch has ended for the night. You are relieved. Go get some sleep. Bye. All right, next up. We need to determine generally a high ability and a low ability. All right, Death. So what I'd like the tag team duo of O'Sheeps and Bewitchcraft. I would like each of these lovely ladies to give me a D6 roll in chat, please. O'Sheeps is giving me a 4, and Bewitchcraft is giving me a 2. High intelligence, studious, learned, and inquisitive. Low dexterity, clumsy, and fumbling. High int, low dex. Again, we're not worried about the scores. Let's get the prompts. This personification of a winter holiday has piercings, is studious, learned, and inquisitive, and or. However, the same character is also kind of clumsy and fumbling. Yeah, Hark, we're rolling. We're creating some NPCs for holidays. Oh, sheeps. And hello, Exhausted Dragon. Welcome, welcome. Whoa, look at that. Look at that face Bewitchcraft is sharing. Now, we need a talent of some kind. And Ivlon, would you be so kind as to let us know the talent represented in this holiday NPC by giving me a D20? Oh, Sheeps is a smooth son of a gun. She's rootin', tootin', highfalutin'. Ivlon is telling us that this holiday personification manifests... Oh, sings beautifully. Ah, all right. Sings beautifully. Smoother than a baby's butter. Now, a mannerism. And by the way, if you read in the DMG, it's prompting you to write a sentence. Absolutely, that is a good way beyond just writing a word, because it gets you to think a little bit more. We're already doing a lot of thinking, so I want the prompt. Let's have Hark. Will you roll a d20 to give us a mannerism? How does this personification interact with others? Be they other mythical beings, or godly beings, or mortals? 4. Slurs words, lisps, or stutters. And so, you know what? Let's actually hone in on this a little bit. All right. Can you roll a d3 in chat to let us know specifically how this character conveys? Rolled a 1. Slurs words. Raz is offering some inspiration. Pat Boone or Mel Tillis? Possibly, and you know, we can always re-expand it, Ivalon. But do they slur when they sing? That could be the case where by singing, that could end up being a miracle, or some sort of, you know, the slurring falls away. We might have some sort of either a concept or a historical figure or a deity of some power, where this is, you know, this is guiding us towards what the celebration's going to be about. In fact, Angry Little Asian, you had a good inspiration there. Can you roll a d12 in chat to let us know our interaction traits? You know, how does the NPC interact with others? Not just with the mannerism, that's a personal conveyance. In interpersonal relations, what happens? And that's exclamation point roll space 1d12. We can use a monster such as that. All right. Rolls an 8. Hot-tempered. So, at least when dealing with others, seems to be very angry. From the Angry Little Asian, I suppose we have some inspiration. And so, you know, we have something, I guess, like a Jigglypuff, or even a Yuki Onna that's kind of tsundere, where, you know, you listen to her sing, but if you interact, you interrupt it, because that's the only time that perhaps the concept, you know, speaks clearly, then, you know, things can go awry. A constantly drunk diva pog? Like bottle caps? She gets flustered and has speech impediments. Ah. Now, useful knowledge? We'll determine that. That's kind of, you know, a good black box for a DM for any NPC villain, or even in this case where we're creating a holiday. We have an ideal of some kind. And Tesla, will you please roll 2d6 in chat? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 along the axes, and then the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is appropriate. 5 and 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 is neutral. 1 is balance. So her ideal is balance. All right, that's fine. Speak about the things you're knowledgeable and passionate about. There's no problem with that. We're here to talk about mythology and creatures and historical and religious figures. This is the place to geek out about this kind of stuff. Now, our NPC has some kind of a bond to the world. Something is happening here that is maybe keeping him or her or it in some capacity tethered to the world, or as a reflection or a representation. Death Angel, are you back from stepping away? If you are, can you roll a D10 in chat? Exclamation point roll space 1D10. And in the case Death Angels isn't, is Bubonic One, are you still hanging around too?
Many fall in the face of chaos, but not this one. Not today.
Woof Babe Ame, thank you very much for the host. Welcome, welcome. All right, Bubonic, can you give me a D10 roll in chat? Exclamation point, roll space 1D10. And Daily, I would like to call on you to give us our NPC's flaw or a secret of some kind with a D12 roll. And hey, yeah, thank you very much, Woof. I'm gonna give you a nice emote spam to welcome you over to us here. So Bubonic One is saying number 3, protective of colleagues or compatriots. And our flaw or our secret, as Daily has determined, Daily rolled an 8. That is, ooh, a specific phobia. A specific, now, I mean, if I were to look up a list of phobias, I mean, it would be a very multi-sided die to roll randomly. Though I think we have enough information that we can begin to extrapolate what this character may start feeling afraid of. Yeah, unfortunately, Tesla, MathRockSpot does not compute. Wolf says, just finished my stream and saw you were streaming, so I decided, and you know what? Oh Sheeps, can you give Wolf Babe a shout out, please? Thank you for coming by. And can you describe a little bit about what you were doing on your channel before you came over to support the D&D love here? I see Subnautica. Are you doing some endgame stuff, or are you just beginning, or are you trying to go for some super secret crafting? All right, going through the NPC creation flowchart here in Chapter 4. There's actually a phobia list website. Although it's... Are you saying that sarcastically then, Tesla? Or I don't know how to take your response. You're doing a blind playthrough? Is your first day playing? Was a lot of fun. I'm glad you've been enjoying it. It's a popular game. A lot of people... It's like it's an underwater Minecraft, effectively. If you're looking for a phobia name and it's not on here, I'm afraid I don't have it. Oh, jeez. So we've gone through here, and we have an idea. We have an NPC. Remember, this is a personification of some kind of a winter holiday. We went through some global and religious winter holidays, December, January, February. And what kind of a character, what kind of a character, but by extension, what kind of a holiday comes to mind? We have an NPC with piercings, very intelligent, but a bit clumsy, sings beautifully, but slurs words in song, not when singing, only when singing, when hot-tempered, as, you know, maybe in a solo environment, very eloquent. Maybe in front of others, it could be a form of public awareness jitteriness. But is hot-tempered when interacting with others. This could be other mortals, or other gods, or other just anything else. It could be with non-animals and plants. Or something specific with non-horses, or something like that. Now, useful knowledge, this is going to be the things that are going to fill in some of the details of the holiday. You know, what does he, she, it, we, they know, or it contains, that would be an expression of the holiday? We have this ideal of balance to things, something in life. This could be a tipping point of balance. This is more of a solstice themed holiday. This could be something else where we're trying to bring balance, you know, in a time of scarcity by having a grand feast. This could be some sort of a spiritual balance where perhaps after feasting, this is actually a time of fasting and contemplation. You know, we work during the summer. In the winter, right? Look at what winter is for us. It is, you know, shorter days, colder temperatures. You know, I mean, even if you live in the South, you know, 70, you know, or I guess like 80 degrees is still colder than 82 degrees. And so, you know, cooler temperatures, shorter days, you know, plants, again, also geographically depending, you know, may not be in bloom, or different things are available. There could be certain fermentations from the summer or the autumn that are now just becoming fruitful to drink. This could be balance in a lot of ways. This could be a physical balance, a spiritual balance, you know, list of rituals. Protective of colleagues or compatriots. So if we have some sort of a saint, or we have some kind of a deity, or again, this could have been a historical figure, someone who still, you know, looks out for others despite the proclivities above. Or perhaps in the manifestation of the holiday, what we're supposed to celebrate is trying to protect us, is trying to bond us, trying to find this balance, keeps us from tipping over into some sort of moral decay, or a period of debauchery or other lewdness, or even just whatever unhealthy practices, be they with food diet or beverage intake, or perhaps a tendency towards violence or war. Could be something along those lines. And some kind of a fear. It could be a fear of, you know, we explored, there was that Persian holiday that was, you know, to drive off the cold, the darkness and the cold. And so a fear of darkness, you know, perhaps if it's a festival of sound and light, is supposed to make this longest night, to banish it. So we are all together. We're hot-tempered like fire. In that hot-temperedness might actually be represented by fire. I mean, so we have the concept of a Yuki-onna that was brought up by Allright, and I think Evelyn supported the idea too. Well, if we have a Yuki-onna, instead, what if we actually have something more like I get what would it be? Like an Afridi, or some sort of fire elemental, perhaps. Or just some sort of a effigy, an effigy of some kind. Ivlan is getting like a togetherness day. All the Who's in Whoville will gather together and sing. Wouldn't balance lend itself better to equinoxes than solstices? It could, although Tesla, as I said, there's the equinox. If it is the longest day of darkness, we could be balancing out by creating bonfires and light. Or in a season of scarcity, we balance it out for that day by eating our stores, kind of a thing. A haunted village scarecrow, says Phoenix. Woof says that I've been into survival games a lot lately. Was fun learning the game as I played. I've seen no videos or anything, so it was a full blind playthrough. Everyone got to watch me have a lot of ooh shiny moments. Yeah, when you're collecting, those who've been playing are like, you're spending like 5 hours gathering like common coral, but to you, that's coral. You're like, oh, this is cool. I'm going to use this in something, and suddenly your coral empire grows. Well, yeah, you just got to collect everything but witchcraft. Now, from here, we've already started to get an idea. We've already started to get an idea of some kind for the concept of the character. If you want to take this further, when you're creating an NPC, the NPC could be anyone that you as a dungeon master may want to use or have a need for. In this case, all of these traits can be that of a tiefling, a Sverfneblin, a lizard folk, a tabaxi, a fire genasi, or I don't know. Is the jury out? Is it genasi or genasi? I think it's genasi, like genie, ja. I think it's genasi. But I've heard people pronounce it differently. Yes, even like, treasure chest runs into a group mob. And O'Sheeps is beating you to it, Witchcraft. I've run into a mob for less. Hey, iDragon, good to see you back. I've been in an Age Call of Cthulhu campaign recently. Neat changes of pace from playing D&D. I'm glad it's refreshing for you. And hopefully it's giving you some good ideas if you do make the return back to D&D. And if not, hey, have fun in that setting and go let your brain just continue to expand. Yeah, you don't have to go as deep into the NPC. You for the sake of I guess of our normal workshops and things to think about. Here's this information. I've ran into a mob in a dungeon on WoW because I forgot they were there. Because I was too busy singing Backstreet Boys and dancing. Friend said one of the fondest memories of us playing WoW together was me on the little goblin trike yelling, "Help, help, help," as a ton of mobs ran behind me. Oh, goodness. Always heard J. So, Genasi? This is good for key NPCs or NPCs that the party either runs into or joins them. Yeah, you don't need, for a lot of your NPCs in a campaign world, this is fine. You don't have to stat out every NPC. I mean, we could just go to the commoner block for most of them, or there's a lot of other, very solid NPC types if you want to stat them. But in many cases, an NPC is serving a role in your story to help convey something. We have built a wonderful vehicle to convey information. Yeah, so for an avatar of a holiday, it's good. If you all did want to take this one step further, you can then also go through a quick character creation, which could fill in things like occupation and history. Now, for a holiday avatar, you might say, well, what is the occupation and history? It depends. Do you want to get into a history of, was this person a toy maker? Was this person someone who lived on the fringes of civilization? And what we can do, you know, for our winter holidays, I believe we just stuck to the player's handbook. But I'll tell you what we're going to do here. Let's have a fun, quick little, I guess, focus. We know the purpose of this character. Let's focus in on some traits and maybe discover more about this character's history as either a representation or based on a real person. No, that's a real legend, all right. Yeah, don't overdo it. If you blow out, Dragon, then you won't enjoy anything you're doing. It's better to have fewer that you enjoy and you can get back into than to just run yourself ragged. Oh, you got whacked. Oh my goodness, so sheeps. All right, so let me bring this up. Dragon, thank you for joining us. Can you do me a favor and type exclamation point roll space 1D100? $55. Yeah, you don't have to, Evelyn. At least not mechanically. In some ways, it could help express the character further, but you're right. Many NPCs, you don't even need to assign classes or spell lists. They'll have what you want them to have anytime that you want them to have it. Crumdrade for anything? Well, I'll tell you what, Crumdrade. Why don't you roll a D50 in chat? Also, Woof Babe, are you still here? Rolls at 25. Kalishtar. A Kalishtar from, mechanically anyway, from Eberron. Not that we're making an Eberron holiday, but we're going to draw on some aspects of the Kalishtar. Which is going to be interesting because Kalishtar they're humanoids with two souls. Think kind of like the Dax character from Deep Space Nine. Where you have like the symbiote, although it's a soul symbiote. I'd say they're into dreams, but they actually can't dream because of the other soul inside of them. So it's a creature with two souls. So we have a male Kalishtar. I don't know if Woof Babe is Woof Babe. If you're there, let me know, so I can call on you to help out with a couple rolls here. Ivalon, will you... Alright, Ivalon, now that we have Math Rock Spot, I want you to do this for me. Ivalon, you can roll 2d10 for alignment. If you don't want to roll 1d100. It may be Crumdrade. Hey, Tabletop Galaxy! Hey, welcome, welcome! Sheeps, can you give a shout out to Tabletop Galaxy, please? So that made Bewitchcraft say, wow! Also, in her seat. Ivalon is not here, I guess. And just when you could have rolled 2d10 for alignment instead of a d100. So let's go, hey, 1 in 20 D&D. And also Fayforge Academy, welcome. Niffer Niff is here too. Oh, hail, hail, the gang's all here. All right. Can you please roll a D100 in chat to give us our alignment? And for all of you who just raided, if you can stick around a minute, I'll ask for your help to make this holiday NPC. An 82, so we actually have a neutral evil character. But not a villain, just so right now we have a neutral evil male Kalishtar. I'm not worried about character level. I'm not worried about feats or traits. As an NPC, they're going to do what you need them to do. Now for the background, Tabletop Galaxy, will you please type !roll space 1d78. Hey, Golden, welcome. All the backgrounds. Evil Twin Bad Cop. Oh, Ivalon. Oh my goodness. So Ivalon is here. All right, Tabletop Galaxy is not here. Oh, Ivalon, and I just called on you twice to roll 2d10 with Math Rock Spot instead of a 1d100 for alignment, because you've been itching to do it. All right, let's have Niffer Niff. Can you please type !roll space 1d78? Well, we'll have another chance for you, Ivalon. Niffer Niff is not here. Fayforge Academy, are you here? I want to call on some of our raiders and have some fun. Fayforge, are you here? I suppose, too, I should call out, is 1 in 20 D&D also here? Now, if they just finished a tabletop session, honestly, they're probably tired and got to go to bed. Oh, hey, 1 crit. Or do you mean Tabletop Galaxy? All right, 1 crit. Can you please type !roll space 1d78? Oh, hey, Niffer, you were there too. I'll call in you next for a roll. No, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. All right, I'll tell you what, Niffer, since you're here and responding, can you please type !roll space 1d78? I need someone to give me an occupation for this personification of a winter holiday. There we go. Niffer is stepping up. Rolls a 13. A charlatan. A charlatan. Very interesting. You know, as a charlatan, you get an alternate identity. Like a certifiable, you have all the documentation for this other representation of you. Now, if we go to charlatan, I'm not worried about the ideal bond and flaw. We already have that. I'm not worried about the specific personality traits. However, there is an additional role about what kind of a con perhaps we were good at exploring. Golden, you have not rolled yet. Can you roll a d6? Glassblower, it's not a joke. I'm playing off the hot temper. Hey, there's 1 in 20 D&D. 1 in 20, stick around for a second. I'm gonna call on you. But I need Golden to roll a d6 for me. Real quick, like. Rolls a 1. Now, I don't know what the number 1 con is, but we'll look it up in just a second in the player's handbook. Now, again, I'm not worried about spells. This is an expression. The class of our NPC is simply going to be a method through which he expresses himself. So 1 in 20, can you please type exclamation point 1D13 in chat? I'm sorry, no. Exclamation point roll, R-O-L-L, space 1D13. Rolls on a 1. We have a barbarian. All right. I'm turning on the options for the types of barbarians. Artificer is number 13. Hey, Mystery. Oh, I appreciate you telling me, but we're going to open up the player's handbook and take a look anyway. In the presentation of things, I want to make sure that I'm showing off where things are. Oh, wait, it wasn't? Oh, shoot, never mind. Because you know what? It was because I didn't have all this other stuff filled in. So instead of Barbarian, I'm sorry, we actually have an Artificer. Because that is number 1 right there. Yep. So instead of Barbarian, we go Artificer, and we're not counting the Unearthed Arcana subclass as 3, everyone. There are 3 different kinds. So Mystery Cycle, would you please type exclamation point roll space 1D3? Rolls a 1, an alchemist. All right, we have a neutral, evil, male, Kalistar, artificer, alchemist, charlatan. I'm not going to worry about any of these specific things here. And if we come down to the Kalistar, I'm not worried about specific ages and such, but if we do present this character in some way as a personification, how are we going to present the character? Age of... Actually, hang on. I have, Dragon. You had redeemed some points. iDragon, can you please give me a D100 roll in chat to let us know how our character presents himself? Hey, Old Wolf. iDragon rolls a 69. Hark is in with the first nice. Beating O Sheeps to the punch. Careful though, Hark, that will only make her angrier. It's like shooting Mongo in Blazing Saddles. Alright, with that, so we have a middle-aged. Middle-aged, neutral, evil, male, Kalistar, artificer, alchemist, charlatan. Now, these are fun little extra steps. Do you need them all when you're creating any NPC? Though this can help give us some extra inspiration, and it's also just good practice for coming up with concepts. If we go to the player's handbook, charlatan is under C. I'm not worried about this stuff. I want to know what our scam is. Number 1, I cheat at games of chance. Oh, Sheeps is being rebellious and is just simply saying neat. All right, ta-da! From here, I would like some any of you to pitch concepts. The Kalishtar, again, this isn't set in Eberron. As it's presented, a Kalishtar is a person. Have a good night, Crumdrade. Thanks for hanging out with us. A Kalishtar is someone who has 2 souls. The one that they've been born with, kind of in the race, their native race, and then an ancient one that is kind of like being carried forward from an old line of people. It could even be a kind of like an ancestor that, you know, so as a family perpetuates, an ancestor's soul might also occupy you to help guide you. Mechanically, they have some, they can't dream. They have, the dream spell doesn't work on them because their minds are otherwise occupied. And I think that they get some kind of other, psychic resistance, I believe. But in concept, we have someone with 2 souls. We have someone, who can create various concoctions. And this could be through alchemy, through brewing. You know, this, we could take this in a medicinal direction as well. And we also have someone who might be a bit of a trickster. I cheat at games of chance. Now, there are many phrases and things that, you know, I've cheated death. Could it be something along those lines? You know, we do have a neutral evil person, so this could end up being kind of a trickster god, or a trickster character in a fable from which we must learn a lesson. You know, we have 2 souls. Charlatan as a background gives us a false identity, and so this could end up being a personification of a moral that we all have 2 sides to us. We, you know, even the most well-intentioned person might have a bad streak, might have a secret, might have something shameful, or, you know, to always be wary because everyone has 2 faces. The one that you see, and then the one that, I guess, like, would peer from beneath the one that you see. Or we can come up with some phraseology for that. Piercings are involved somehow. In appearance, in ritual, it could be piercings that are represented because we eat shish kebab during this holiday. And so, you know, flesh and vegetable alike is pierced and draws us together to share our succulent juices. Or it could just be, ritualistically, the people in this community wear certain piercings for the holiday or get a new piercing. And so actually you can tell someone's age by like the number of studs they have in their ears or their nose or whatever else, or eyebrows or elsewhere. I mean, if you got skin, heck, even if you have scales, you could pierce them. I'm sure there's many of you out there who have or have contemplated or know someone who has a bevy of bravery tests. We have someone who's very cunning, though is kind of clumsy. Someone who sings beautifully, though slurs words. Someone who's hot-tempered. This could also be, remember, we're thinking symbolically. Could this be represented by fire or by rage and anger? Could it be the bubbling up from beneath? You know, so we all have this, you know, if this turns out to be like a volcanic area, and who knows, from this prompt alone, maybe so. What if they live in the shadow of a volcano? And this is actually a celebration of the volcano's eruption. There's nothing that would keep us from that. You know, we seek balance. If we're cheating at games of chance, is that because we only dupe people who themselves are cheating? Or is this, you know, or do we see this as a throwing of the dice or a rolling of the dice? as a kind of a great equalizer over time, as all chances sort of like normalize out over time, statistically. We're protective of colleagues or compatriots. And we also have a specific phobia. What is represented? Is it fear? Fear of fear? The dark? Cold? Bugs? I don't know. It could be even fear of the unknown. I mean, so that we're cheating at a game of chance because we have a fear of the unknown. So we're actually seeking balance and control. You know, cheating at games of chance could simply be trying to minimize risk. So Krumdrade said goodnight. Possibly have loaded dice. That could be dragon. I still think it's a glass blower, hot-tempered glass. Alchemist Artificer works with heat and glass. Festival of Lights to drive the darkness away, glass lanterns. I do think, Ivalon, through Artificer and or Alchemist, you do end up getting some tool proficiencies. And I do want to qualify that by saying not that you have to manifest it through mechanics. If you want an NPC to do something, your NPC is going to do it. Don't be afraid to leave an NPC unstatted or to kind of like, you know, wedge them where you need them. Kalisher on 29, but if we go to the Artificer on 54, just to check. Real quick like. Thieves' tools, Tinker's tools, and an Artisan tools of your choice. Makes me think the old soul was an incorrigible gambler and a cheat. Ah, okay. Yep, a two-face like Janice. Exactly, Ivalon. Also, piercings could have glass earrings. And Ivalon is sticking to his guns on this. We have someone who is going to be making all sorts of glass. Gotta love an alchemist with butterfingers. They're a drunken Sinatra. Fear of failure, says Hot Dogs. Fear of loneliness, suggests Tesla. The most crippling fear of all. I like fear of loneliness, says Evelyn. Since they have piercing, it might be funny that they are squeamish with seeing blood. Oh. Xanthophobia, fear of the color yellow. So in this case, James, what would be the fear of the color yellow? Or do you mean the fear of fear because we associate, are you yeller with being afraid? Is that the motivation for that? All right, yeah. Drunken Sinatra? Isn't that just Sinatra? And Ivlon seconds that motion. There's a motion on the table. All in favor say aye. Any opposed say nay. And the ayes have it. Good test of reflexes. Did any of you go like this? I was coming for you. You gotta be ready. Or dare we say a glass eye? Dun dun dun. All right. Bup. Condensing ideas. Someone who is afraid of being alone. However, the presence within him seems to encourage him to... I don't know, is it like a... Is this a representation of fighting some sort of like an inner demon or a temptation? Someone who's afraid of being alone. Makes glass works for others. And tries to master... If we could use glass... So in this culture, if they understand that glass is a liquid and not a solid, and tries to master the art of balance by making solid shapes out of a liquid. Someone who is introverted and seems selfish. That would be like the neutral evil, right? Like, I'm doing this for what I'm doing, though secretly it's more like a tsundere sort of thing. Someone who is introverted and seems selfish, but offers, I guess, care and gifts, perhaps. In the form of baubles and song. And you know what? Just as we associate certain instruments with, bells for Christmas kind of a thing, isn't there something, it could just be loneliness that drives him to do the glass work for gifts and such. Isn't there something it's like glass tubes, or it's like a glass organ? Now I know you can always play glass jugs or wine cups, but I thought there was like an instrument made that used glass tubes, or even just was like a harmonizer or something. It's something that kind of like rubbed a glass as an instrument and not just as the performer doing it. Vibraphone. Thank you, Witchcraft. Thank you. If ever I could count on someone with the knowledge of vibrating cylinders, but Witchcraft, you stepped up and you really, you helped me out. An harmonica. Okay. So this could be an inventor, right? We have an artificer. Baubles and song. Inventor of the harmonica / vibraphone. And so the singing could even just be the song of the glass. This character himself may not be able to speak very well. Or if the character speaks, what if two voices always seem to come out? And so perhaps by singing through the instrument, you can convey your, so the person might be good, the other entity might be bad, and so you'll always hear a dual answer of, oh, is it really wise to propose to my fiancée? And this person or this spirit or whatever would answer simultaneously yes and no. However, through the prayer, through the communication of the singing glasses. And hey, Bronson. And also, who else popped in? Pura Vida Maui. Welcome as well. Harmonic Convergence. So what we need is just a big helix statue that just calls out for everyone to just run together and... Sounds like 2 from MHA. What is MHA, Bronson? Oh, My Hero Academia. Got it. I will take your word for that. Oh, Twice. A character named Twice. See, so there we go. So this person is sort of like dealing with this duality. You know, I want to be with people, but I can't. I speak the truth and I lie. I am these two things, both by Kalishtar and Charlatan, as we've rolled. I'm someone who is neither old nor young. We're middle-aged. We're an we create. And we create out of this balance. We create solid things out of a liquid, glass. And I'm not even just talking about molten glass. I'm talking about, like, glass. Unless has that been recategorized, or have I heard differently? Glass is a liquid, right? I don't want to seem like a fool. Yeah, this is... It could make instrument. It could be a very musical season. So there we go. Da-da-da-da. Now what I'm going to do... This character, I don't know, if some kind of a name comes to mind as well, then we can always throw one in there. But now that we're warmed up, what I want to do is we're going to go through this one more time. However, we're going to do it in reverse. We are going to start with the little details. And then we are going to provide the broad details. Because I want to showcase that you can build NPCs either way, and there could be differences in how you, how you think about the character. Got to peace out early, busy day tomorrow. Demon, before you leave then, if you can get us going real quick like, we're going to start with the small details. Will you give me a D100 roll? Sorry to keep you, but I appreciate you helping us out. Rolled a 14, so we now have a female character. Now this is for another winter holiday. Now this could be in conjunction with our first one. For all we know, that's what we get. This could be something completely different. You know, something that could be different of like Valentine's Day is about love and romance, or at least, the spirit is supposed to be. And then we have New Year's, which is it's partying and woo, a fresh start kind of a thing, instead of, so a different focus. So we're starting the prompt for our second winter holiday. And hello, Third Falcon. We are life through death, we are water through fire, sunrise in the darkness, from one all and from all nothing. All right, next up. Third Falcon, can you please type ! roll space 1D50 into chat? Let's find out which race. Oh, hey, Old Wolf, 1,400 bits. My goodness, thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. 2,400. Well, speaking of winter holidays here, I am guiding us through the process. Thank you very much, Old Wolf. Tell me what you'd like to do with the 2,400. You can always have me hang on to it as well. Third Falcon gives us a 46, a vampire. A vampire. Now, there are two... I think there might be some slight mechanical differences, but the vampire can be found in the Ixalan and Zendikar plane shift documents for Magic the Gathering. So we have a female vampire. Bleh. All right, Ivalon, are you here? Please don't miss out on it a second time. Ivlon, I'm calling through the void to you. Twice basically talks politely and rudely simultaneously. If he addresses someone, he'll say something like, "Hi there, how's it hanging? And who do you think you are?" Both because he basically broke his own mind with a superpower. At Ivlon. Yeah, it was good timing, Old Wolf. Alright. Ivlon, I guess, is going to miss out on an alignment roll. And in good-natured jesting, because he does prefer a 2d10 to a percentile. Before, when we had the old rolling bot, Ivlon kind of jived me like, but I want to roll 2d10. I said, I don't have that 2d10 programmed. And now that we have Mathrock's bot, I've called on Ivlon twice to roll 2d10 for an alignment, and he is not here for either time. And so, to keep things going, Schnizzerific, will you please roll 1d100 in chat? Exclamation point roll, space 1d100. Rolled a 10, a lawful good character. I'm not worried about the level. I'm not worried about ASIs or feats. Lawful good female vampire. All right, now what did this vampire do in life? I'd like to do a full box at some point. No hurry. All right, Old Wolf. Let me know which box you would like, though, because you can have any of the normal boxes for 18 or one of the Monster Menagerie 3s for 22. Also, Old Wolf, will you please type exclamation point roll space 1d78? In life or unlife? Oh, that's a good question, Cold Spark. We'll find out. Rolled an 18. We have a Cormanthor refugee. Now, this is out of Adventurers League Rage of Demons. And so we can pop that open to explore that background. But we have someone with a refugee-style background. I forget the exact goings-on in Cormanthor that would flavor it, but we'll find out in that document. Or I think it's Cormanthor, not Cormanthor. The emphasis on the syllable. Now, of course, this does not have to take place in the Forgotten Realms. We're simply using it as a personality prompt. There's no additional roles, so it's really just going to be what we see it presented as. Okay, now it is time. It is time to roll for the class, which is again the expression of the NPC. We don't have to worry about spell lists and the like. Yes, hot dogs. In fact, hot dogs, will you please type exclamation point roll space 1d13? And you rolled a 7. We have a monk of some variety. All right, now, Sun Soul is repeated twice, so I'm not going to worry about that. So really, I'm going to need a D8 roll. And let's see, who has not rolled recently? The Bronson. The Bronson, will you please type exclamation point roll space 1d8? Oh, Bubonic, all right, we'll get you in on a roll too. Oh, The space has to be between the roll and the 1d8, not the exclamation point. And Schnizzerific, consider this. A monk... No, exclamation point, no space, roll, then a space, then 1d8. Schnizzerific, monks are just proficient with unarmed strikes. That's punches, kicks, headbutts, and perhaps what? Hey, Cold Spark got it. Could end up turning into a flurry of bites. All right, rolled a 4, 1, 2, 3. The Way of the Long Death. All right, now everyone in this channel, we have a saying that goes, it writes itself. If you just trust yourself, your intuition, and, you know, trust the dice to take you on a journey, to help you tell a story, because you can furnish it, we say iwi, it writes itself. And there is an emote for that any of you can use if you have the free BTTV extension installed on your browser, and that's capital M, capital M, IWI. It writes itself. And then lastly, how does our vampire appear? Bewitchcraft said that she likes vampires. So Bewitchcraft, will you please type exclamation point roll space 1D100? A 79. So she appears also middle-aged. I mean, of course, what is middle-aged for a vampire? Because even as we have it in the... even as we have it here, you can be from any race and vampirized. So actually, a mompire. I was going to say something. I won't say it, but I don't think it goes against being PG-13. I'm just going to leave it at that. All right, Bubonic one. Don't worry, we're not done rolling yet. I don't believe so. I'll double check. No, we don't. Because for that, the vampirism in Zendikar is... it's kind of different. It's not what... Yes, they're vampires. It's not the way that you think they're vampires. If that makes sense. So I guess we technically didn't determine that. Mompire taking a bite out of crime with that lawful good. All right, so this is our prompt. We don't, we just know, like, we have an outline. Who's that Pokemon? We have loaded in the small attributes of the character. And now let's determine not just what she is, but who she is and how does she function. And what's interesting too is both our NPCs are simply like a template that anyone could end up having. You know, if we roll that gnomes and goblins live in this area, a gnome or a goblin could be a Kalishtar or a well, in Eberron they're a medium creature for Kalistars, but I mean in consideration. And so it's cool that we actually have concepts of races that could really apply to any race that we want. All right. let's go to the Dungeon Master's Guide. And Bubonic One, I want you to kick us off in the fulfilling of this character. What is her appearance? What is a major feature of her appearance? I need you to roll a d20 in chat, Bubonic One, to help us out. And then, Oh Sheeps, I will be calling on you next. I wonder if Ivalon, have you come back yet? Bubonic One rolls a 13. Bald. Bald is beautiful, everyone. You know what I'm reminded of? Who was Doctor Strange's mentor in the MCU? Like the leader of the monastery. I'm kind of getting that image. Oh, the ancient one. Yep. We never really did get a name, did we? So, Hark, we kind of have an ancient one, don't we? Hark, will you please roll a d6? Gangrel or animalistic, the Nosferatu are the ones that look a lot more corpse-like. Rolls a 5. We have a high wisdom. We're perceptive, spiritual, insightful. However, we must all have some kind of a flaw here. Who else has not rolled and would like to? Anyone hanging out that wants to get in on this character creation? Oh, we can talk VTM all night in this channel. All right, Golden, roll a d6. Anyone else out there can shout out, or if you want to snap in one of these rolls, you're welcome to spend some inspiration on a workshop dice roll.
Sound a feasting horn.
Apparently we have a supporter of Finland. I don't know why anyone would be against, but up with Finland. Thank you very much for the follow. You roll a 3. Constitution. High wisdom, low constitution. So she seems sickly or pale, the poor vampire. But this could also be something that involves health, endurance of some variety, mental or physical endurance or some other endurance. So high wisdom, low constitution. Now, she has a talent of some kind that, of course, will reflect in the discussion. I know vampires always got to drink blood. It's like they just can't hang on to this stuff. Tesla says, could be the constitution of a nation. Tesla, will you please roll a d20 and give us our NPC talent? Rolls an 8. Great at one game. We're great at one game. Almost a typo 200. Well, that'd give us an Uno master. Oh, you know she's not going to hang on to 25 cards unless she has a master plan. Hey, Grainwald, good to see you. So she's great at some kind of a game. Is it, racing? Is it chess? Is it cards? Is it dice? Do we have some sort of a foil? Is she the second face or something? Do we even want to link the two? We could. She's great at hide and seek. Perhaps. Yu-Gi-Oh! Even, Tesla says. Grainwald, will you please type !roll space 1d20 to inform us as to one of her mannerisms? She plays in League. Well, I guess she could just stay all night. She could stay up all night playing League. Gonna head out, have fun making characters? All right, Third Falcon. Before you leave, if you have a second third, we can squeeze in one more dice roll with you. If Grainwald isn't here, then I'll tell you what. Third Falcon, give me a D20 roll before you take off. My bad, that was part cheesy. If she's not sorry about how good she is at sorry. Third Falcon rolls a... Oh, all right, Grainwald, no problem. Thanks for at least coming by and saying hi. I'm sorry it's cutting out for you. My goodness. Third Falcon rolls a 13. She fidgets. Fidgets. How does she interact with others? Let's have... Schnizzerific, will you please roll a D12 in chat? Exclamation point roll space 1D12. Plat is short for platinum. It's a rank in League of Legends and other MOBAs. Oh. Rolls a 10. She's ponderous. She takes her time. She thinks. She is not hot-headed. We kind of have the opposite of hot-headed. She is not quick to act. She acts and reacts slowly. Plat is what everyone in chat is when the streamer is master. I don't know if I get that, Tesla. Now, she has a particular ideal. Oh, before you go, Angry Little Asian, do me a favor, can you please type exclamation point roll space 1D6? And, is Five Fizzle still here? If so, Five Fizzle, oh, you know what? I don't see Five Fizzle here. Oh, Plat is lower than, okay, gotcha, Dragon. Wait, so the implication that the chat is like feeding the streamer? All right, Angry Little Asian gives us 1. We have a good ideal, and this good ideal is let's have all right. Can you roll a d6 in chat for me, please? Oh wait, was that the joke? If the viewers are feeding the streamer, that because she's a vampire, she's feeding on the viewers? You roll a 1. So we have a good ideal of beauty. The implication is that the stream has no idea what they're talking about. Oh, okay. I thought it was... all right, I thought it was people throwing a match to try and, I guess, like, boost a rank or something. Have a good night, Angry Little Asian. Thanks for helping out tonight and hanging out with us, too. All right, our bond. Bewitchcraft, can you give us our vampire's bond with a D10 roll? And then let's have O Sheeps finish us off with a D12 for her flaw or her secret. That's called win trading. It's not allowed. I imagine it's not allowed. I don't know. Like, couldn't they like send a secret message though that's not monitored? I don't know how that stuff is caught unless you're being super like direct about it. Her bond is 9. She's out for revenge. Off to bed? Okay, then Daily, have a great night. In fact, I don't know. O'Sheeps hasn't rolled yet. Daily, do you want to sneak in a D12 roll? I'll make it up to O'Sheeps later. Daily, if you could have us a send-off. They'll see it in match histories. Ah. All right, Daily is telling us that her flaw is number 8. Another specific phobia of some kind. Ocho is my numero tonight. Okay, now, from this, what can we put together for some kind of a winter season holiday? It could be religious, it could be a festival of lights, it could be a philosophy, it could be based on someone that is accurately represented by the holiday or has had an embellishment. It could be a mythological creature. You know, we're talking about how St. Patrick's Day is technically a winter holiday, and that, you know, while it is a, you know, stemming from a Catholic origin, it also involves leprechauns. You know, we were talking about a possibility of a Yuki-onna with the last one. So here we have, at least in appearance or consideration, a middle-aged, lawful good. So she does things for the benefit of others and seems to maintain a kind of order. Female vampire monk, the Way of the Long Death, which thematically, let me bring that up. That's in the Sword Coast Adventurer's Guide. Followers of the Way of the Long Death worship the principle of death more so than any deity of death. These monks seek the secret of life by studying death itself. It is the condition of being dead that concerns them most, and not what lies beyond. The afterlife holds little interest to them. Their monasteries are full of decaying, dying, and dead animal and plant specimens, which they study with detached interest. They frequently purchase rare specimens from adventurers and merchants that they can't obtain easily themselves. Now, does this have to be specifically it? No, this is the theme of the Long Death monks. They frequently okay, there was that. But such studies are only part of the monk's daily life. They seek to understand death as it pertains especially to intelligent living beings, and to this end, they eagerly welcome the diseased and the dying so that they might watch and record their deaths. If such unfortunates seek release from pain through death, the monks provide it. They view death as a gift that they bestow on those who are ready for it. Their means of determining readiness vary from one sect or even monk to another. The monks suffer no moral qualms about these deeds, for death is the most natural thing in service to its principle. Wait, did I skip? I think I did. The monks suffer no moral qualms about these deeds, for death is the most natural thing in the world. From their perspective, and to expire in service to its principle is one of the most profoundly holy experiences a living being can hope to enjoy. It is for this reason that the monks themselves do not fear death. Most of the order's members are either scholars who share mutual fascination with death and dying, or clergy who worship one of the deities concerned with death. Some of the monks consider themselves to be nothing less than visionaries, whose work will pave the way for a better future for all of Faerun. When death is truly understood, it can be harnessed and used as a tool for the betterment of all, or so they rationalize to themselves. Monks of this tradition follow the Way of the Long Death, which is described in the monastic traditions below. And so you get Touch of Death, Hour of Reaping, Mastery of Death, Touch of the Long Death. So we are about mortality and finality, and even the, you know, the entropy of, I mean, I'll say the human condition, but it's really like, you know, the humanoid condition, the intelligent humanoid condition. In this case, we might actually be having maybe kind of a new year, if not a winter solstice, because, you know, it's the shortest. Because it's the shortest, you know, it's the darkest hour. You know, you have the Hour of Reaping that is a concept in this. I could also see that, you know, this is when the old year dies. And you know, it could even be like a week-long celebration, like, you know, kind of how we have between Christmas and New Year, where it leads up, you know, until we celebrate that time. And so, actually, it's more of a time of mourning, or a time where we just sort of, you know, we can reflect back on the year and perhaps the people that we've lost along the way. Also, to give a little bit more flavor from what we've interpreted here, let's take a look at what the Cormanthor refugee offers. And I do believe that was in... Is that in Mulemaster Bonds and Backgrounds? Caravan Specialist, Earthspur Miner, Harbor Folk, Mulemaster Aristocrat, that's the Flan Refugee. That was the Flan Refugee. Hillsfar might be the one. Yep, Rage of Demons. Here we go. There we go. You are one of the hundreds of refugees that were driven from Hillsfar or that fled the destruction of Myth Draenor, and who now shelter in hidden camps under the northern eaves of the Cormanthor Forest. You grew up in the camps. You have never been to a settlement other than the village of Elventree. As a guest of elves, you have learned their ways, and does this have to be elves or Cormanthor? No. You are also traumatized, as residual wild magic energies released by the fall of Thaltanar, upon Myth Draenor, and the constant fear of raids hunting for non-humans to fight in Hillsfar's arena. So we have someone who perhaps fled as a child. So she has seen death. She's seen destruction as a refugee. And she found, perhaps at a moment of death, a kind of a continuation. Perhaps as a new year dies, so too does the year perpetuate anew. And so it's an ending, but it's not a true ending. It is a perpetuation marked by the ending of one cycle and perhaps the beginning of an unending one to come. Okay, all right. Thanks for joining us and helping us out. Yeah, if you want to add that to her story, that she was a kid that, that found, so maybe this is a historical figure instead of a legendary, like a mythological figure or a religious figure. If you want to interpret this as this was a real person who kind of like, the story of the Buddha, grew up as an aristocrat, never knew wanting, never knew pain, never knew death. Anyone who is sick and dying were always taken from his sight, animals and servants to the palace. And it wasn't until he actually experienced pain and suffering then did he truly understand it. And from there developed a philosophy that has existed forever, from that point, where Buddhism is a reflection on pain and suffering, not causing it, but understanding it, working through it, defining yourself through these things. And so she may very well have, instead of a kind of a riches to rags, more rags to riches, at least in spiritual fulfillment. And so she could have been a real character then, who unlocked some kind of a perpetuation of life. Because she truly, fully understood death or accepted death. And so in a way, this could almost be like a combination of of New Year's, but also what we started in our December exploration of Bodhi Day. Commemorates the day that the historical Buddha, Siddhartha Gautama, became enlightened. So for us, that's on the 8th of December. Though this is, this could be that kind of bodily renewal. And this could also then be reflected in what is the game that is played on this holiday. Is there a good game that could be, I guess that could reflect this kind of mentality? Could it be something like, Go? / kind of Othello? Could it be, what are games about, What are games? I'd say Small World, but that's a modern day game. And by the way, Small World's an awesome game that y'all should give a try. What would be a good game of like cycles? Mancala? Backgammon? Well, we could even make something up. It doesn't have to be an IRL game. But the game that she plays is one that can help us come to terms with death. To show that there is a finality, but that then too, that is a continuation. You know, she's ponderous. Death can take its time, but also it's an eternity. It happens. It will happen. There's no need to rush to it. Though you always can, you need not do so. Now, for the fidgets, I wonder how that could work into things. So I guess for this case, we have a real girl who fled a tragedy, and by accepting death, earned continual unlife as the keeper of finality and renewal. Or if not as renewal, then as like the springboard into it. So she's bald. It could be the monastic tradition. It could be symbolic. You know, we shave our hair will return. Well, hopefully. She counts on her fingers in games before making a choice. That could be. She could always... or if she plays a game, even if she's not playing, what if she always has the pieces? You know, if she plays checkers, what if she continually rolls the checker pieces over her fingers? Something like that. Or, you know, if you say counting on fingers, that's how we opened up. Like, how do you count to 3? Do you go 1, 2, 3? Or do you go 1, 2, 3? And so, you know, part of the prayer celebration could be like finger puppetry or other such things too. That's not a bad idea. The baldness could be the nakedness of winter. How trees lose their leaves. How grass loses its color. And yet, just like hair, you know, it can grow back. Or just a Mancala stone constantly in her hands. Finger rolling is what I'm talking about. It's an anxiety thing. I think we have an awesome prompt for another winter holiday. All right, so everyone, what I want to do here, we're going to take a quick break, stretch, relax. When we come back, we're going to take this process, and then we are going to repeat it, but with villainous connotation. We'll be making whatever, the bad guys, the monsters, you know, a kind of like a Krampus figure who might eat little girls and boys instead of trying to get them to peacefully understand and accept death as a part of thing, or to try and have them overcome an anxiety for the sake of the community, or being able to find other ways to communicate if you can't otherwise. You know, some sort of like an overcoming oneself, or overcoming your doubts, those whispers that are always in the back of your mind. You know, so yeah, we rolled lawful evils. He is selfish, though the selfishness is what is showing you can still express yourself and be worth something to someone else that won't just toss you to the side, for, you know, because you have a hot temper, or because you normally slur your words. Oh, and thank you to thank you for the YouTube subscription. However, something I do want you to think about is she has a specific phobia. Oh, well, thank you, iDragon. And what would a character like this be afraid of? Now, this could be the same. If this character is afraid of being alone, nothing stops this character from also being afraid of being alone. Many stories often share the same moral or take the same approach to solving, or take a different approach to solving the same problem. If we have a community that absolutely requires togetherness or encourages communication, we can have two characters that in these parables that are represented as holidays are fighting loneliness and are fighting, past tragedies or abuses or withdrawals of some variety. So let me know in chat, but I got to get up. I'm going to, use the restroom, get something to drink, and we'll come back and we'll make villains along the same process. But there's a couple other little fun villainous considerations in the DMG for us.